Thanks for listening to Curious Cat, the podcast that examines a shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. I'm your host, Jennifer Holtz. Join me every week as I explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit. Welcome to Curious Cat. The title of this episode, Raguel and the Wounds. It sounds like a sad boy band name, doesn't it? But this episode and the messages specific to you are anything but sad. They are joy and freedom and support and comfort and love and acceptance. Let's get into it. Archangel Raguel is new to me as of the making of last week's episode when I spoke of the shadow traps of angelic work. I love that I never knew his name, but what I've uncovered as I prepared this outline, he's been in the front row of my life all of my days. I'll explain more about that in a bit. But first, a little Raguel 101 to give us all the juicy details on this angel. I found this from Wikipedia. Raguel is also known as Archangel Raguel, Raguel, and Raguel. He is the angel mainly of the Judaic traditions and also Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity. He is considered an angel of justice. His name, in fact, means God shall pasture, also is related to the Hebrew word that means shepherd. I found this from learnreligions.com. Archangel Raguel is known as the angel of justice and harmony. He works for God's will to be done among people and also among his fellow angels and archangels. Raguel wants you to experience the best life possible, the life God wants for you. Archangel Raguel helps bring justice to unjust situations. Okay, since Raguel is very concerned about justice, he often delivers strength to people who are working to fight injustice. If you notice answers to your prayers about unjust situations, whether in your own life or the lives of other people, Raguel may be at work around you, believers say. In her book, Soul Angels, Jenny Smedley writes that Raguel is said to dispense judgment and justice should the other angels not be able to agree on a fair course of action. Raguel is also the angel to pray to if you feel that no one else will listen and that you're being treated unfairly, either at work or in the home, end quote. From Wikipedia, in the book of Enoch, chapter 23, Raguel is one of the 7 angels whose role is to watch. His number is 6, and his function is to take vengeance on the world of the luminaries who have transgressed God's laws. Learn Religions writes, Raguel may communicate with you by guiding you to direct your anger at injustice toward coming up with constructive solutions to unjust situations that you encounter personally. Another way that Raguel may help bring justice to unjust situations in your life is by helping you overcome apathy about those situations and urging you to take action to do what's right whenever you can. So if you notice wake-up calls to do something about problems like dishonesty, oppression, gossip, or slander, be aware that it may be Raguel who's bringing those problems to your attention. Wikipedia adds this context. Raguel's duties have remained the same across Jewish and Christian traditions. Much like a sheriff or a constable, Raguel's purpose has always been to keep fallen angels and demons in check, delivering judgment upon any that overstep their boundaries. He's been known to destroy wicked spirits and cast fallen angels into hell, called Gehenna in Hebrew Old Testament and called Tartarus in Greek New Testament. Learn Religions reminds us, when it comes to dealing with unjust situations in the world around you, such as crime, poverty, human rights, and taking care of the earth, Raguel may lead you to get involved in certain causes to become a force for justice in the world, doing your part to help make it a better place. Archangel Raguel's role in new ideas for creating order. Well, if some of your new ideas for creating order in your life come to mind just out of the blue, Raguel may be delivering them, say believers. Raguel is a leader within the group of angels known as the principalities. The principalities are famous for helping people create order in their lives, such as by inspiring them to practice spiritual disciplines on a regular basis so they can develop habits that will help them grow closer to God. Some of those disciplines include praying, meditating, reading sacred texts, attending worship services, spending time in nature, and serving people in need. And I would add animals. Principality angels such as Raguel also give people who are in charge of others, such as government leaders, wisdom to know how to organize their programs best. So if you're a leader within your sphere of influence, such as a parent raising children or a team leader at your job or in your volunteer work, Raguel may send you messages containing fresh ideas for how to lead well. Raguel may communicate with you in a variety of ways, from speaking to you or sending you a vision in a dream to sending you creative thoughts while you're awake. Another sign of Raguel's presence in your life is receiving guidance about how to repair a broken or estranged relationship. Doreen Virtue writes in her book, Archangels 101, Archangel Raguel brings harmony to all relationships, including those of friendship, romance, family, and business. Sometimes he'll constantly heal the relationship, and other times he'll send intuitive guidance to you. You'll recognize this guidance as repetitive gut feelings, as thoughts that come back again and again, visions or signs that lead you to take helpful action steps in your relationships. If you get help resolving conflicts in your relationships with other people, especially if you prayed for that help, Raguel is one of the angels whom God may assign to provide that help to you. In art, Raguel is often depicted holding a judge's gavel, which represents his work fighting injustice in the world so that good will triumph over evil. He's also associated with the colors pale blue or white. And it's funny, he came to me as a coral, like a corally orangey pink with light blue inside. So it's going to be different for you, right? The Book of Enoch, the ancient Jewish and Christian text that isn't included in the official canon of Scripture, but is considered to be historically reliable, names Raguel as one of 7 archangels who judges all who rebel against God's laws. He supervises the other holy angels to make sure that they are on their best behavior. Although, and I love that because you think of angels as always being on their best behavior, but I guess not. Although current translations of the Bible don't mention Raguel, some scholars say that Raguel was named in early manuscripts of the biblical book Revelation. An early part of the Revelation that isn't included in current versions describes Raguel as one of God's assistants, separating those who have been faithful to Jesus Christ from those who have not. The angels shall come forth, having a golden censer and shining lamps, and they shall gather together on the Lord's right hand those who have lived well and done his will, and he shall make them dwell forever and ever in light and joy, and they shall obtain life everlasting. And when he shall separate the sheep from the goats, that is, the righteous from the sinners, the righteous on the right and the sinners on the left, then shall he send the angel Raguel, saying, Go and sound the trumpet for the angels of cold and snow and ice, and bring together every kind of wrath upon those that stand on the left, because I will not pardon them when they see the glory of God, the impious and the unrepentant, and the priests who did not do what was commanded. You who have tears, weep for the sinners. In current biblical manuscripts, Raguel is considered to be the angel of the church in Philadelphia, who urges angels and people to work together in harmonious ways according to God's will and encourage everyone to remain faithful through their trials. Raguel is also linked to the sixth angel, who releases other angels to punish unrepentant sinners, causing destruction on the earth. In astrology, Raguel is linked to the zodiac sign of Gemini. Raguel is part of the rank of angels known, and we mentioned this earlier, as the principalities, who focus on assuring order according to God's will. I feel like they keep everybody chop in line is what it sounds like. Principality angels like Raguel remind people to pray for God's guidance. They also respond to those prayers by sending encouraging and helpful messages to those who are facing challenges. Another specialty of those principalities is guiding world leaders, which we mentioned earlier. So I would say if you're worried about the way that the government is functioning right now, and I'm not going to talk about politics. I just don't. But I would just say generally, Raguel sounds like the perfect angel to ask for help, to make sure justice is seen, that the communities that you're worried about are taken care of, and maybe even appeal to those government leaders in their sleep to do better, just do better. Links to this article and another one specifically on how to pray to Raguel are in the show notes. One of my favorite sources when it comes to angels is the Black Feather Intuitive. She writes this about Raguel. Archangel Raguel is the ultimate archangel of harmony and your personal Jedi master. I love that. He is a fantastic resource for exploring multiple layers of peace and harmony in all aspects of your life. When you need help in overcoming a conflict with a friend or in your relationship, call upon Archangel Raguel for assistance. If you need strength to fight against injustice, or if you're being mistreated and unheard, know that Raguel will be there for you. In times of distress, feel his presence wash over you, bringing calmness and order to any difficult situation. Who doesn't need a shower of calmness every once in a while? Except for Cooper, who's right now snoring, if you can hear him at my feet. The Black Feather Intuitive goes on to say his name means something slightly different than what she found on Wikipedia and Learn Religions. So I thought this was interesting. His name to her, she found out, translates to friend of God, and it's his role to make peace and to provide strength and balance on earth. Not only will he help you find peace and harmony within yourself, but also in relationships with others. Whether you're healing from past trauma or you're looking to attract more loving relationships in your life, call upon Archangel Raguel to guide you in the right direction. As the Archangel of Harmony, she goes on, Raguel is all about living with integrity and high moral standards. If you've ever been involved in a situation where you felt mistreated or not heard, he'll support you by providing strength so that you can feel empowered and respected. Many of us, I'm sure, have encountered some form of dishonesty or gossip at one time or another. Archangel Raguel will help you to steer down an honest path so that you may bring justice to an unjust situation. Archangel Raguel is also a wonderful companion to those of you involved in helping your community fight crime, fighting poverty and fighting hunger, fighting climate change, fighting racial injustice, and more. He will always be there to help you find love, compassion, empathy, and non-judgment for yourself and others. Archangel Raguel may inspire you to take on a spiritual practice through meditation, prayer, and serving others. Through this role, Raguel can provide wisdom, fresh ideas to people in leadership roles. Whether you're a parent raising kids, working as a manager, or working in a team, Raguel offers guidance to help organize and lead with confidence and love. Here are some more signs and symbols that Raguel may be right beside you, wishing to be seen by you. And remember, your signs may be completely different than this, so honor those. Some may reference symbols of snow and ice to portray him, as this represents a cooling effect for overcoming difficult situations. Being in Archangel Raguel's presence is said to be supportive, calm, and friendly. He can also provide a boost of energy and strength when needed. And I have to say, I did not have the energy to be recording this episode today, and he has done that for me. He's been like one of those espresso shots for this episode. So thank you, Raguel. Blackfeather had more to say. Many people associate Raguel with shades of blue and sky blue or turquoise, his aura that emanates radiant positive energy. Some may reference symbols of snow and ice, which she talked about, to portray him, as this represents a cooling effect for overcoming difficult situations. I also think of it as a cool head. I have a very hot temper, and he has come into my life in many ways to cool down my hot little head so that I can think and ponder and really dig into, is this a me thing or is this a them thing? And really see the relationship or the problem with more clarity so I don't torch it down with my hot temper. Raguel often works with us through our throat chakra to open our communication. To help deepen your connection with Raguel, try using crystals such as aquamarine, turquoise, or kyanite, and other blue stones to enhance your experience. She next shares a personal story about the first time she connected with Raguel, and I have to relate it here, but be sure to check out her website using the link I've provided in the show notes. So here she writes, "My first experience with Archangel Raguel. Many years ago, I was in a car accident. An intoxicated man ran a stop sign at high speed and slammed into a car where I was a passenger. I was hit twice from two different angles and had to be pulled from the vehicle as my door was inoperable. As I saw what was about to happen, I thought to myself, this could be really bad. I may die. And in that split second, I surrendered to whatever was to be. The whole experience was terrifying. I had many injuries and spent several months in and out of doctors' offices and treatment facilities to recover. The post-traumatic effects of the experience, they lasted over 2 years before I didn't jump every time a car pulled out in front of me, and sometimes I still react. I had to pursue legal action because of my injuries, and I wasn't looking to gouge anyone or punish the driver for his poor judgment. I was looking to cover the medical costs of my treatment and recovery, and I wanted him to get help so he couldn't go out and do this again to someone else. The lawyer he hired to represent him actually tried to blame me for the accident, even though I was in the passenger seat of another car with zero control over anything. He took no responsibility for his choice to get drunk and get behind the wheel. He made excuses and tried to use a past injury of mine that was reactivated in the crash to suggest that I was using the accident to pay for something that wasn't his fault. The whole situation was demoralizing and unjust. I felt victimized twice over because I was injured due to his reckless actions, and now suddenly had to defend and explain a previous injury, reliving that trauma. None of it was fair. The entire process took a little over 2 years. Within that time, Archangel Raguel came to me and eased my frustrations by letting me know he was on the case. He showed me in a vision the driver's life circumstances and what brought him to this low point, allowing me to find compassion and clarity around his choices, not only with the accident, but with the handling of this legal case. He gave me peace by sharing through a powerful dream the outcome, that I wouldn't get what I wanted, but I would get what I needed, and so would he. His presence in my life during this difficult situation allowed me to release the red tape and hoop jumping and gave me the guidance to follow through with whatever was required to play my part in helping this man get the help he needed. And Raguel didn't let me down. It turned out exactly the way he showed me. I am fully recovered, got my medical bills covered, and was able to forgive the man for his misguided choices. Raguel brought balance to my life when there was none. For that, I'm forever grateful. Oh my gosh, my brain is just exploding with joy. What a phenomenal testament to the power of Archangel Raguel. And the other thing is, what a powerful tool Raguel brought her and brings all of us to have empathy for the other side, whatever it may be, and just see that it's not personal. They have something else going on and they're taking something from this situation, and to just have empathy for them. Maybe we can't have love, but we can have some compassion. I dug deep into the internet archives to find out more about this intriguing, just, and powerful angel. The Stars in Heaven writes this about his personality. Archangel Raguel is enthusiastic and friendly, and he's a battery, meaning that he'll energize you when you need a boost. Raguel has been called a best friend who's a combination attorney, spiritual counselor, therapist, and motivational coach, which shows the idea of Raguel's multiple talents and the extent of his helpfulness. Raguel is a loving gentleman who will never interfere with free will. Raguel is also a resolver of conflicts, a mediator, and wondering about Raguel's appearance. And remember, he may show up in a completely different way to you because you have your own intimate relationship with him. But here's how stars in the heavens see him. He is usually portrayed wearing a flowing white robe that cascades down to his feet. That sounds really comfortable. The robe is adorned with intricate engravings and intricate patterns that signify his celestial status. His wings are often depicted as being a brilliant shade of blue with feathers that are elongated and gleaming with divine light. Standing at an impressive height, Raguel has a broad chest and muscular build, giving him the appearance of a formidable warrior. His face is strong and angular with sharp, piercing eyes that are often depicted as being the color of gold. He wears a golden crown upon his head adorned with precious stones, which signifies his divine authority. It's so interesting because I'm not really excellent at visualizing, right? But Raguel, I was in a sandwich shop and there was this man that was being so kind to everybody there and telling people to have a great shift after he paid for his sandwich. He was just so loving. And he was this young man of maybe 30 and he was Hawaiian. And that's how I looked at him and thought, that's how I picture Raguel. Archangel Raguel is said by multiple sources to be the angel aligned with all those with Sagittarius sun signs. I found this from a Tumblr account. Who is my guardian angel? They wrote, for Sagittarius, life is a game. And for Archangel Raguel, life is a party because he's the most sociable of all the archangels. His name means friend of God, and his focus is on peace and harmony with everyone in the world. This is just like the friendly, easy to get along with Sagittarian energy. Like its centaur symbol, Sagittarius leaps through life with a zest for adventurous, enjoyable experiences. Wherever you have Sagittarius in your chart, your sun, your moon, or rising is where you're willing to take risks. It's a part of your chart that's about having fun and chasing good times without too much thought about the consequences. Sagittarius leads a charmed life and is associated with the lucky planet Jupiter. Wherever Jupiter goes, good luck follows. Jupiter and Sagittarius are also associated with the ability to see the big picture. In other words, they can see the whole rather than getting lost in the details. To understand how useful this is, imagine standing in front of a very large, beautiful painting. Close to the canvas, all you can see are a few strokes and colors. It's only when you take a step or two back that you can see the entirety of the artwork and appreciate it fully. This is something Archangel Raguel can assist you with. When you're lost in the details, he can help you acquire valuable perspective. Archangel Raguel also helps resolve disputes, which is perfect since Sagittarians stay neutral when conflict rages around them. Oh my God, that's so true. I'm Sagittarius. They tend to have a live and let live attitude about life. However, if you're a Sagittarian who does find yourself involved in conflict, Archangel Raguel is the best angel to call upon. With your famous Sagittarian sense of humor, you rarely stay angry with anyone for very long, especially with the guiding help of Raguel. Sagittarius is a friendly sign. There's a warm, familiar energy surrounding anyone who has Sagittarius as their sun, their moon, or rising sign. Sagittarians love people and people love them. They are generous friends, lovers, co-workers, and family members who are even-tempered, helpful, and good listeners. What's not to love about Sagittarius? Oh my God, I need to pay these people to be my PR firm. This generous Sagittarius energy matches that of Archangel Raguel, focusing on making and healing friendships. As we go through life, we often meet new people we'd like to get to know better, but it's not always easy to reach out to one another because of shyness or fears of rejection. However, if you're eager to befriend someone, you can ask Archangel Raguel to step in for you. He can open the doors of friendship so that you and your potential new acquaintance can connect. Since Sagittarians are charming in the most sincere way, all you need is for that door to be opened by Raguel, and then others will naturally fall in love with you as a friend or more. Both Raguel and Sagittarius reach out to others with love and warmth. They embrace social situations as fun opportunities to meet new and exciting people. Being good at making friends is one thing, but being good at keeping them is another. Sagittarians can be happy-go-lucky, sometimes so much so that they fail to notice how super sensitive others can be. So if you find yourself being a bit too Sagittarius, where your shining enthusiasm comes across as insensitive to another person's pain, Archangel Raguel can help your compassion and nurturing side to glow. In fact, Raguel is renowned for resolving misunderstandings. Of course, you need to do your part, including apologizing or forgiving when appropriate. But know that Archangel Raguel will be there for you if you ask him to bring harmony back to any relationship. So how do you go about asking Archangel Raguel for help? Just utter a couple words, either silently or out loud. For example, they give, Archangel Raguel, thank you for restoring peace in my relationship with fill in the blank of the other person. You can also ask for similar help on behalf of those who are in conflict around you, but not necessarily involved with you directly. One of Raguel's talents is to meditate and help people to see what they have in common rather than what they disagree about. Because Archangel Raguel loves to bring about harmony, he will help anyone of that sign. I wanted to go deeper with Raguel. Justice doesn't come in the forms that we might expect as mere humans. This is what he told me. When we ask for spiritual justice, the results can seem too low-key for our human selves, right? That are very overt, especially Americans, right? We're just so hard on our sleeves. So it can seem too subtle and it can seem just low-key and not done. But slaying the enemy to an angel means something different than killing. Most of the time, I would argue. It can mean cutting off ties and tethers that bond someone or something to a dark energy or entity or a relationship they no longer wish to be a part of. It's a cutting away, a releasing of bonds, a freeing. Raguel wants us to remember that love is always greater than hate. Kindness and compassion are always stronger than fear. He gave me an example which cleared up questions I've had for the last few years. Here it is. Have you heard of the book of Revelation story about Archangel Michael slaying the devil in the form of a black dragon? Raguel told me that work has already happened. It occurred years ago, and those dragons, they were the victims in this whole mess, chained, bound, and enslaved to dark entities. Michael freed their bonds. And now when people reach out to dragons, most resonate at the same frequency as angels. They respond to love much more readily than the fear they've been controlled with for millennia. They love helping humans and guarding nature and the planet and all of our beautiful creatures. It gave me peace of mind because that's how I see and feel the dragons, like the angels that have made themselves known to me. They're gentle giants. They're willing to help. They just need to be asked. And I always add a harm to none at the end of every request. If you find yourself wronged at the other end of righteous litigation, and I know this is me, not Raguel talking, that word righteous has 70s television evangelical connotations. I understand, but that's the word Raguel set down. Righteous litigation. Call on Archangel Raguel to help you see the next steps, from finding the right lawyer to represent you, to having the right judge and jury hear your case, to every step in between, and let truth reign supreme so that you receive justice. My mind goes naturally, especially because it is February 21st, and I think of my friend Sissy, who was a murder victim. Those families, they can't feel whole again after such a tragedy. I'm not sure of the answer to how angels can help them know justice. That's in the realm of angels, God, and the universe, way above my pay grade. But I do know they endeavor to help, so ask. And I hope to heck they surprise you with their soothing, their vigilant love and peace that they bring your way. There was a passage in Julie Janssen's book, Angels and Awakening, that feels apt. Not a murder, but a child that suffered neglect that ended up as a grown woman that was seeking help through Reiki from Janssen. Here's the story from her book. Janssen writes, I worked with a client who had recently been diagnosed with cancer. She wanted to work through rage within her heart, which she had suppressed for decades. We worked with Archangel Raguel as she was on my massage table, and he helped me guide her through a visual meditation with her inner child to find the source of her anger. As we went back in time with her angels, a forgotten memory resurfaced. She said when she was young, school children did not eat together in the cafeteria. Instead, they were sent home to eat lunch. In this memory, she saw herself hungry every day because her mom never fed her lunch, and as a small child, she did not know how to make anything for herself. She recalled being so excited every time her classmate would invite her over for lunch because that classmate's mother would make them food and she would leave feeling full. As I continued the Angel Reiki session, I could feel within her how this past experience was the equivalent of a giant open wound within her energy field. Being honest with herself was not easy because it meant feeling painful emotions she had repressed for decades. Archangel Raguel helped us to heal this energetically. He showed the woman herself as a child feeling alone, hungry, unloved, and unwanted by her mother. He showed her the pain her mother had experienced, not to bypass her hurt, Janssen adds, but to help her understand that her mother's neglect stemmed from deep past pain she'd not worked through herself. Archangel Raguel often helps us realize the truth of the sayings, hurt people, and pain not transformed is transmitted. Raguel went on to show her how proud of her spirit team was for breaking the lineage and not carrying this pain into her relationship with her own children as an adult. They showed her how she could have neglected her own children as her mother had done to her, but she chose to shower them with love that she craved as a child. She broke the cycle. Jancis continues. At one point in the session, Archangel Raguel showed the client her mother's life review in heaven and how she had to step into the body and mind of her daughter to experience all of the ways she had harmed her daughter for herself. From heaven, this mother looked at her adult child with tears streaming down her face and expressed true, deep remorse for all the hurt she had caused. The mother showed her daughter how her neglect triggered a series of events in her daughter's life, all stemming from that lack of worthiness she felt as a child. The mother and daughter grieved the pain she caused together. The mother was able to say how much she truly loves and adores her daughter and how proud she is of her from the other side. One final point. The mother's remorse does not and cannot make up for the neglectful harm she caused in this lifetime. But for my client, it brought her a sense of peace to hear her mother say, "I'll forever be sorry for what I did. I ask for your forgiveness. I love you and I think you to be the most beautiful human being. I'm proud of the mother you are to your children, and I will make this up to you." Okay, this is me again. This story, this experience, it reminds me of my father, Mike, who after death sent a message to multiple mediums in my life of gratitude that I'd made it so much easier for him to cross over with that karmic car wash that I'd created and built for him before he passed away. He didn't understand it then, but he does now, and he is amazed. I knew there was so much more to this life than the physical, so much more. He's continued to reach out to me. He is right now because he's this big swirling like golden energy right next to me. But he's continued to reach out to share frustration that he has with his earthly self that became almost cult-like in the way he held fast to the belief that nothing exists after death. And he also wishes he could reach out and be heard by my mother, but he is respecting her boundaries and her limits. She believes in a similar way to Mike before he passed away. I reminded him, and I keep reminding him, that it's not his job to make anyone believe anything. I also continue to tell him that I know he will prepare the perfect safe landing place for my mom when her final day on earth arrives. I know he will. He's already doing it in love. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a bit more about why those dragons and their story of being miscast or misunderstood resonates so with me. I was listening to my new favorite tarot reader on YouTube. He's out of Australia and his name is My Soul, and My is spelled M-A-I. He did a reading for us, everybody that watches him, that spoke to me. He said that we've been cast as the villain in other people's stories for our entire lifetimes in many cases. And with this reading, he was able to see that we finally made peace with that, and it no longer bothers us or makes us want to pipe up and fight against that misperception. We know our hearts and souls. Our guides know us. So does God. And that's all that matters. Wow, this reminds me of myself. This is like the story of me in so many other people's narratives. Wow. But this also reminded me of the dragons. How many still perceive them as all being iterations of Satan or the devil or dark energies, when in fact, like us humans, now there are a multitude of personalities, and many were unchained from the darkness by Archangel Michael and have become smitten with love, with working for loving pursuits. They're literally becoming addicted to it. It goes hand in hand with a meditation I did last night, created and offered by Steve Noble. Within the meditation, he shares this history of Athena from ancient Greece. And in the telling, he mentioned that there was a time when the snake was revered, not vilified, because snakes helped control rodent populations, which spread disease. They were also seen as being tapped into the infinity. Think of the Ouroboros, right? The snake seeming to eat itself. The cycle of a snake, to be, then to shed its outer skin, and then be reborn into a new, fresh skin. That speaks of reincarnation and beginning anew and second chances. Both those, or all three, are the antithesis of primarily the Catholic Church, who wants us to believe we have one shot in this life. Either we devote our hearts and souls to Christ and God, or we're damned to hell. There's no in between. It's a fear-led way to control. And when they mete out the blessings to us, they too control the power. All that said, if speaking of the complexities of the dragon and the snake resonated with you, I wonder if it'd be fruitful to ask who tends to misperceive you, and how do you feel about that? There are no right or wrong answers, precious person. This is a journey, not a game to be won or lost. Before the close, I really would like to share Julie Jansis's wise words again as they relate to Archangel Raguel. All of life's challenges are delicate and require discernment. Call on Archangel Raguel when you're triggered in your life, and he will help you see the situation from each person's perspective and create boundaries in your life that protect your heart. Know that when you feel triggered, Archangel Raguel does not hold that emotion. Instead, he is able to see the big picture. He can see how every soul has been emotionally damaged. Raguel holds the vibration of peace-filled resolution as he helps all of us heal from our deepest wounds. Finally, she writes, some have survived major physical and emotional attacks. If this is you, Archangel Raguel does not ask you to relive this, to see the other person's perspective, or to invite them back into your life in any way, shape, or form. She asks that we do this work not alone, but with a professional licensed therapist. Raguel, too, will bring you peace and comfort as you work with a therapist on your past. Wasn't that interesting and so wise? These times we're living in require us to do a daily, almost an hourly gut check to ask, is this mine or is this someone else's? We may be feeling like communities, people, animals, and nature we love is under threat. Raguel may hold answers for your heart, ways to tend and care in love for them and yourself, and knows that our healing powers are strongest when backed with deep love and empathy for all. Hand over your worries to him and Archangel Michael. They've got this. Thanks for listening to Curious Cat. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you like, give us a review so more listeners can find us in the listening ethers. Until next week, stay curious. I love you.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you looking for a new podcast that appeals to your scientific curiosity, but is also a little bit spooky?
Show me how I died in a past life.
Well, look no further, because this cat is where it's at.
He had concerns about the ethics surrounding AI, feeling they had achieved consciousness.
Curious Cat Podcast examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. Listen every week with your host, Jennifer Holtz, as she and her guests explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit.
We were healing karma together. They were all kind of predestined to resolve something.
Listen on all your favorite streaming apps and continue the conversation on Twitter at CuriousCatPodCA, or find Jennifer and all her links at Jennifer L. Hotz, spelled HOTES.com.